Mark Lindsley, I get to. Mark Lindsley.
I have to study for finals. I have to go to work. And yes, for some of us in this room, I have to go to Toastmasters. How many of us have a rucksack full of challenges at our feet? Burdens that we hold every day, could be work, could be family. I lived the world of have to some 30 years ago when I was an airman in the Air Force. I had to work in a computer mainframe room in a technical position. I had to go to school after hours to get my bachelor's degree in 8 years. And I had to stand in formation, shoulder to shoulder, airman to airman. But the most daunting have to for me was getting up on a stage. And no, I wasn't presenting, I wasn't briefing, I wasn't doing anything like that. I didn't even have to open my mouth. However, I was just receiving an award. I was a petrified airman. I was playing these steps over and over in my head. It went like this: walk up the stage, turn left, walk to the officer, stand in attention, take with my left, shake with my right, go back to attention, salute. The burden of that have to robbed me the honor of that award that they were presenting that day. Some years later, when I was in the civilian world in 2007, it wasn't the weight of the military uniform on me, it was the weight around my stomach and the inability for me to keep up with my kids. I just merely wanted to kick around the soccer ball with them without huffing and puffing. For me, I had to change. I had to run. Something crazy happens when you start doing something for so long. You go from the have to the want to. I ran so much, over 10,000 miles and several GPS watches, and this body will tell you that I ran that many miles. But the thing happens when you do it over and over, you want to do it. I wanted to run faster. I wanted to run farther distances. And the very same thing happens in Toastmasters clubs. I wanted to get past that petrified airman. I wanted to find my voice. And I wanted to find or see others that got past their petrified moments. I want to take you to a time that I was at the right height of my running times in 2013. I had a great group of guys that I ran with on Saturday mornings. It was our social hour, or 2 or 3 or 4, depending on how many miles that we were training for. We had a great time. We probably laughed a lot more than you should be when you're actually running. We had this friend of ours, his name was Matt. And on a Saturday morning, Matt shared some unthinkable news with us. So Matt shared with us that he was diagnosed with a brain tumor. So Matt couldn't run with us anymore. He couldn't drive. He couldn't work. And here I am complaining about my have-tos in my rucksack of having to go to work, having to drive to work, and yet Matt would have considered that as a privilege. And that was a huge paradigm shift for me, going from the have-tos to the get-to, getting to do things that people are not capable of and cherishing those moments. I have to share with you that I am on a high-stakes mission. At the end of this month, my 30-year-old son, Cairo, is getting married. And through raising him, I looked at things through the lens of have-tos. I had to take him to school, had to take him to soccer practice, or sit in the car waiting for him. But as I prepare for this wedding speech, and the years of Air Force dedication, running commitment, and hours spent in Toastmasters clubs and stages have finally culminated where I realized that I don't have to give that speech. I get to give that wedding toast. Come at the end of the month, when I raise that glass for that wedding toast, it's not going to be the petrified airman playing those steps over and over in my head. It's going to be a loving and understanding father, knowing that I get to give that speech. I get to see what a fine young man my son Cairo is growing into, and I get to welcome a daughter into our family. So I want you to go back with me. I want you to look at your own rucksack of challenges, burdens. Could be home, work, could be school. I want to challenge you a little bit today. When you leave this building, you don't have to go home. You get to go to home. And Monday morning, when you drive to work, you don't have to go to work. You get to make a positive impact in somebody else's life. Life is not a checklist or a rucksack full of obligations and challenges. It's a collection of privileges that we get to experience. My name is Mark Lindsley. I'm a father. I'm a veteran. I'm a runner. At the end of this month, I get to give the most important speech of my life.